Did you know that you can actually, scripture says that we can make our requests known? We can make our requests known. Did you know that? It's just like you go to a restaurant. I was at a restaurant yesterday. So the person hands you a menu. There's your menu. Ma'am, what will you have? Okay. Now, the universe is waiting to take your order. They're not hearing nothing. Are you going to eat today? Are we going to take an order? See, you're not asking. You got to make your request known. You got to let it be known what you want. You got to know what you want. Some of you guys listening to me right now don't even know what you want. So how can you ask for it? You go to a restaurant, they say, sir, what do you have? Well, I don't know. Well, I'll be right back then. They go serve on another table. Okay? They go serve. Sir, are you ready yet? Well, I still don't know what I want. All right, well, we'll be right back. Okay? And that's what the universe is doing to you, because you don't know what you want. You're not placing an order, and your order will never get delivered because you're not placing an order.
Welcome to the Success with Listings podcast, where we help you get success in the real estate game the easy way. Now you can get off the roller coaster of feast and famine and out of the rat race of competing with every other agent in town. Hi, I'm Knolly Williams. I took over 1,000 listings during my first 10 years in the real estate game, and in this podcast, I show you how to have success with listings. Let's go.
Number 2, focus on listings. Okay? That is super simple. But when I got into the listings game, I read the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. And what I learned, Gary Keller wrote it, and what he said in there was focusing on seller listings will allow you to get what you want faster and will allow you to have a life. You know, when I think about why listings, I often think about a cruise, because for a while there, I know right now cruising ain't too popular. But for a while there, boy, my wife and I'm trying to tell you, we got spoiled. We went on all kind of cruises. I'm telling you, after I did my first, there was a time in my life where I was on the hustle and grind. I was on the hustle and grind. And that's why I preach against it. You don't have to do that. Okay. I'm going to show you that you don't have to do that during our time together. But there was a point where we went on 8 cruises, I think within 5 years, something like that. And so what I always tell people is, let's say, for example, you had 13 buyers, active buyers, pre-qualified. Woo, we like that, boy. Maybe you already sent them through IntroLend. They're ready to go. Their stamp of approval. All you got to do is go out and find them a house. Done. Okay, you got 13 of them. Are you going on that cruise? You better unpack your bags. Okay, you're on lockdown. But I guarantee you, if you had 13 listings, we cruising, baby. I leave anytime. I don't care. Why? Because I've got stuff in inventory. It's just inventory. That's all it is. All I'm going to do is find somebody, if it's not on my team or another local agent. If you're not at EXP, you're watching this, you shouldn't be, but hey, maybe you were invited. You get another agent with your brokerage, and you just have them babysit your listings in escrow. Okay. So here's the thing. When you're doing listings, you can run your business from anywhere in the world. It's the reason why we travel so much. You'll see me all over the world, and I'm still taking listings, you know. Now, I will say my last year in active production, okay, I did 153 deals. Okay. Now, last year I capped. I didn't hit icon. I'm not even trying to hit icon because I'm not even trying to sell houses anymore. But one of the cool things about this business is you'll never truly retire, because people, I get so many, how should we call these? Come list me's. I mean, I'm going on one right after this. The guy's ready to list. He said, hey, come list my house. I've got one that we just put on the market. Well, I got an offer on one today, and one that's coming. And this is without even trying. Now, here's the thing. We're going to help you become magnetic. If you want to become a listing magnet, I'm going to help you with that too. I'm going to help you with that. So let's get to that part. So focus on listings. So what does focusing on listings do for you? Okay. If you can, write this down, and let me know if this is a goal that's okay with you guys. These are 5 things that I want for you. Number 1, I want you to earn $250,000 or more a year, working 20 to 30 hours a week or less, having nights and weekends off, taking 4 to 5 vacations a year, and I want you to be debt-free. Now, is that okay? Would that be okay with you? Right? This is the life that I was living, actually, honestly, I started making over $250,000 a year. That was my third year in the business, year number 3. Okay. By the way, this is what happened with me. For those of you that don't believe in having a coach, let me just tell you what happened with me. So I was 8 months in the business and I was going gangbusters. Now you got to remember, I'll tell you about my former business here in a minute, but I was 8 months in the business. I had been an entrepreneur for years before this, but I was so overwhelmed. I was in overwhelm that I hired a coach. I went to a Mike Ferry seminar, and you know how that goes. I put down my $1,000 a month, and I'm like, man, I don't have $1,000 a month. I was doing pretty good, but still, I mean, $1,000 a month is $1,000 a month. This was my 8 months in the business. Okay, 8 months in. So I said, okay, I'm gonna try this. So I started with my coach, and right away she was like, what is your goal? I said, my goal, I want to do 40 deals a year, maybe 50 deals a year. Okay. This is 8 months in the business. She said, Knolly, why don't we take that to 100 deals a year? I said, 100 deals? What? She said, yeah, Knolly. She said, I'm going to make you a promise. If you'll focus on doing 100 deals a year, you'll work not even half as much as you'll work doing 30 or 40 deals. And I said, what? Say it again. She told me again. She said, you're going to work half as much. I said, that can't be true. I said, but nevertheless, I'm only 8 months in the business. You've been doing this for a long time. You're a big coach. I'm going to trust you. I'm going to do it. So I think by my third year, I did 80 deals, or maybe my second year I did close to that. Anyway, and the point is, she was absolutely right. Okay. So that within a few years after that, I was only working about 3 hours or 4 hours a week in the business. How was I doing that? Well, I was following the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. And I went 7th level in 2009 based on that model. 10 years ago, I went 7th level. And so at that point, I stopped even producing. I just had a team that pretty much did everything for me. I had a listing specialist, I had one buyer specialist, and the rest were just all admin people. Okay. And so again, I just want to share that with you because everything I've done, you guys can do that and even more. So if this is the lifestyle you want, that's where I want to take you. Number 3, you got to tap the quantum field. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of y'all don't. The quantum field, y'all. So the quantum field, this is where God lives. Okay, the quantum field is where God lives. And people call it the universe, and they have a lot of names for it. But if you're not tapping the quantum field, you're working too hard. You are working way too hard. You know, my dad used to tell me, he said, boy, have you ever noticed that, and by the way, my dad was an immigrant. He came here when he was 18 years old. He looked around, he was like, opportunity. A lot of us grow up in this country lazy. Not that we're lazy on this call, because I know that doesn't apply to any of y'all. But I'm saying, I see a lot of people, they come up in this country and they don't see the opportunity. My dad saw it. He came over here when he was 18 from Trinidad. And he told me, he said, boy, let me tell you something. He said, the people in this, you just look around. He said, the people that work the most make the least amount of money. And I looked, I said, Dad, that can't be true. That's dumb. That's just dumb. He said, boy, listen to me now. The people that make the most money in this system work the least. And he was absolutely right. Now, how do they do it? This is what they don't want to tell you. See, you can go to college. I don't care. You go to university, college, get your PhD, get your master's. It doesn't care. I don't care. It doesn't. As far up as you want to go, it's still part of the system. And they will not tell you that there's another game. And they're playing it, but you don't know about it. Why don't you? You don't know about it, so you don't play it, and you don't get the success. See, if you want to become a magnet for success, you got to tap the quantum field. There's no other way to do it. It's impossible without doing it. So here, and by the way, you can't show me any successful person that has not tapped the quantum field. Even if they don't know that that's what they're doing, there's no other way to succeed. You cannot become a millionaire or a billionaire without doing this, okay? So this is how I launched. I'm going to give you guys a couple stories about how I did it. Okay. Now, at the age of 23, I launched my very first business. My name back then, now I hear you laughing, DJ Rubber Dub. That was me, boy. And that's me right there. Now, I used to be a rapper. Okay. That's how I started off. I didn't start off in this world as a rapper, but I wanted to be a rapper since I was 13 years old. That was my goal. I got married when I was 22, started rapping. And I had already been rapping for years at that, because I started rapping when I was 13. And I became a full-time rapper, a full-time rapper when I was 23 years old. Now listen to me. I quit my full-time job, and became a full-time rapper. You talk about having fun, boy. And by the way, it was Christian rap. So if you see that down at the bottom, that's not explicit lyrics. It just says, warning, bass may not be suitable for average speakers. We had a little fun going there. But that was my very first business. And look at how I started it. I raised $1,800 from friends and family to launch my very first company. $1,800. Guys, I didn't have any money. My wife and I were making about $1,000 a month each. She was making 1,000. I was making 1,000. Okay. So we were bringing home less than 2,000 after taxes. Okay. Our rent was about $365 or $385 a month, something like that. And we could not live on one income, but I was so anxious to start my business that I made my wife, we made a promise. I said, look, and I quit my job. I didn't tell her I was going to quit. Sometimes, and I do not recommend this, guys. I do not advise this. Okay. I don't advise it, but sometimes it's better to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission. When I came home that day, I said, and how many of y'all have ever had a belly full? I'm done. I'm through. Can't do it no more. Now, I didn't quit my job that way, because I worked for an attorney. I was a graphic designer. I had taught myself graphic design. But here's the thing. Some of you guys have been at the point where you've had a belly full. You're done, right? And I was at that point. So I gave my boss at the time, I said, look, I gave him a 3-month notice, very generous 3-month notice. And I told my wife, I said, look, if you will work to support us for 1 year, okay, I guarantee you'll never have to work again. Now, I didn't know how I was going to fulfill the promise. I had no idea. And here's the thing. You don't have to know the how. Let me say it again. You do not need to know the how. That's none of your business. The Almighty has a million ways he can get things done. You can talk to 25 agents. Man, Knolly, how'd you get all these listings? How'd you get those listings? Look, you can talk to 25 agents, and all 25 of them will have a different strategy that they use to get listings. It's not rocket science, guys. But here's the cool thing. You can do it your way. You can do it the way that suits you. There's a guy, I think he was out of Dallas. I can't remember exactly where. You know how he got all his business? Making millions of dollars in business, by the way. Big luxury homes. You know what he did? He would volunteer a couple of days a week at the school cafeteria. Okay. And by the way, his family went to school with the rich kids. So what he would do is he would volunteer serving mashed potatoes. Okay. Scoop them up, bang, put them on the plate. Scoop them up, bang. I can't remember his name, but let's say his name's Kenny. This is a true story. So all the kids knew Kenny because he served the mashed potatoes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's how they knew him. And you know what? They would go home and tell their parents, yeah, Mr. Kenny served us mashed potatoes today. Well, who's Mr. Kenny? Oh, he's a real estate agent. Oh, he is? Well, maybe he can sell our house. That's how he got the majority of his business, serving mashed potatoes at a rich kid's school. You can't tell me there ain't a whole lot of ideas of how to get business in this business. There is plenty to go around, and there's a ton of ideas out there, guys. Okay, you got to tap the quantum field. Let's get back to it. You got to tap the quantum field. And I see some questions coming in, so I'm gonna get to them in a minute. So I didn't have any money, so I raised. Now get this, I didn't borrow $1,800. I just asked people if I could have some money. I need $50 from here, $100 from there, and I told my wife, I said, if you'll let me start this business, you'll never have to work again. God's honest truth. She worked by herself to support me and my new business for 11 months. Okay. At about 11 months and 2 days, more or less around that time, she started with me full-time, became a full-time employee, not employee, but business partner with me. We had two people working at the company. It was a president with me and a vice president with my wife. And she has never had to work again. Okay. At that time, I was 24 years old when she quit working, and I'm 50 now, 26 years old, been keeping my promise, baby. And that's how we did it. But we tapped the quantum field to do it. Now watch this real quick. Now, 3 years later, I bought my first house. I'm gonna tell you how this happened. I was 26 years old, and I made a sketch because by then I was making a lot of money in the music business. Not a lot of money, but pretty good money. I was making enough, but the music business is a tough business to make a profit at. But I was making good money. So I got pre-qualified to buy my first house, $400,000. I was 26 years old, $400,000. This is in 1996. So what did I do? I made a sketch of exactly how I wanted my house to be. I wanted a 6,000 to 10,000 square foot home. I wanted to have an office on the property, etc. Why? Because I was already renting an office space for $3,000. By now, our staff had grown. We were renting office space for $3,000. And I was renting that house for about $500 a month that it had grown up to at this point, maybe about 400 and something a month. So I was spending almost $3,500 a month in rent. And this guy convinced me, and this gal convinced me, real estate team, that we should buy a house. So we got pre-qualified, and I made a sketch. Look at this. This is my first sketch that I made. I made this sketch when I was 26. Then I made this sketch. I said, this is what I want my house to look like. And where did I put that sketch? I put it before the Almighty God. I threw it out in the quantum field. I said, that's what I want my house to look like. Now, this is the original sketch that I made when I was 26. Look at the house that came on the market, y'all. Look at this. You can't tell me that ain't God right there. The sketch, look at the sketch and look at the house. I mean, it's creepy, okay? It's creepy. Did you know, let me just say this right now. Did you know that you can actually, scripture says that we can make our requests known? We can make our requests known. Did you know that? It's just like you go to a restaurant. I was at a restaurant yesterday. So the person hands you a menu. There's your menu. Ma'am, what will you have? Okay. Now, the universe is waiting to take your order. They're not hearing nothing. Are you going to eat today? Are we going to take an order? See, you're not asking. You got to make your request known. You got to let it be known what you want. You got to know what you want. Some of you guys listening to me right now don't even know what you want. So how can you ask for it? You go to a restaurant, they say, sir, what do you have? Well, I don't know. Well, I'll be right back then. They go serve on another table. Okay? They go serve. Sir, are you ready yet? Well, I still don't know what I want. All right, well, we'll be right back. Okay? And that's what the universe is doing to you, because you don't know what you want. You're not placing an order, and your order will never get delivered because you're not placing an order. Okay? Now, just imagine you get in the back of a cab. Okay? Let's say you forgot about Uber. You just jump in the back of a cab because it's convenient. And you give that person half a dozen different addresses. Okay? Take me here. No. Take me there. Oh, no. Hold that. Then they get a block down the road. No. Take me here instead. You get 3 blocks down the road. No, I changed my mind. Take me over here. You know what that cab driver's going to do? Kick you out. Kick you out because you don't know what you want. And many of you, when you're making your request known to the universe, that's exactly what you're doing. It's like jumping in the back of a cab, giving them half a dozen different directions, and you don't even know what you want. So the universe will never deliver it for you. I knew what I wanted. You see that? I knew what I wanted. I put it down on paper and I got it. Okay. It was delivered just like that. Now, by the way, I didn't even have the down payment for this house. That's a whole nother story. We don't even have time for that. How God gave me that. By the way, at this house, let me tell you a story that happened. This is a very interesting story. So when I got that house, okay, and by the way, I was not buying a house to be braggadocious or nothing. I needed a house because at this time we had like 7 employees. We grew to 14 employees, okay, and we had 18 artists, 14 full-time employees, okay, 18 artists on the label. The payroll was $42,000 a month for the payroll, okay. We were making over $150,000 a month in that business. Eventually, okay, I'm going to show you how that happened. But when I bought that house, it was only because my business was expanding, and I figured, hey, the president of the United States works from home. Why can't I? I might as well work from home. So instead of renting an office building for $3,000 a month, which is what I was paying, I just wanted to put it all into one thing. And so I sectioned off a part of the house and made that, for the offices, studios, and all that. Eventually, we outgrew that, and we built a recording studio on the property. We built an office building on the property as well. But I want to tell you this story. So about a week, maybe not even that long, I was in the property, maybe a couple of days. This guy, now Lloyd Steele was the guy that sold me the house, okay? And Lloyd called me, he said, Knolly, there's a tractor at the house, and I got this guy that's coming to pick up the tractor. Are you cool with us going ahead and closing on the house? Okay, now this came through his his agent or whatever, but to my agent, but he was like, are you cool with closing on the house? And then that he can come pick up the tractor. I was like, cool, I don't care. Keep the tractor there. When the guy comes, I'll let him have the tractor, give him the keys, whatever. So this guy comes in, okay? This is a crusty old Texan, okay? If you never been to Texas, y'all, you ain't seen a crusty old Texan till you've seen this dude that showed up to pick up that tractor. The guy looked like he'd been on the tractor since he was 8 years old, and he looked probably about 75. And he looked at me, and now mind you now, I'm 26 years old. I'm a kid. Now at the time, I'm not thinking nothing of it. That's my new house. So what? But we had 10 acres, okay? So when you got all the way to the front of the property, you're looking at that house in the distance. Woo, I'm trying to tell you, it looked really nice, but I wasn't thinking about it that. I was a businessman. That's all it was for me. It's a business decision. So when the guy came, I'm walking out, I'm grungy because we've been moving in boxes and doing all this kind of stuff. And so they told me, they said, hey, one of my staff members, he said, hey, this guy's over here to pick up the tractor. So I went out to meet him. And he said, I said, yes, sir. How can I help you? Here's the keys. He said, well, is the owner around? I said, sir, I'm the owner. I got to tell you guys, if you would have seen the look on this guy's face, I had a grunged out t-shirt, grungy shorts, okay? I'm 26 years old, little black kid, okay? We can say it here. Little black kid comes out, 26-year-old punk, comes out talking about, you the owner? And so the guy, and this is stay with me for the rest of my life. The guy looked at me like this. And he looked at me, and he looked at the house, and he looked at me again, and he looked at the house again, and this is what happened. He put his head down, and he just shook it. He just shook it. He said, a man can work his whole life and not get something like that. You see, he had been told that you had to work your whole life, and you had to scrimp, and you had to scrape, and you had to work hard, okay? That you had to hustle, you have to grind, you got to get it, you got to go get that. That's what he had been told. So here he is, 75 years old, still trying to chase that dream. And here I am, 26 years old. I'm just doing my thing. Another house I bought, okay? I've owned a number of homes since then. So here's the point I'm trying to make. People are putting stuff in your head, and you're allowing them to put it in your head. It's crap, it's garbage. And you're allowing it to stay in your subconscious mind. You got to clean it out. You got to start thinking differently. If you want the success that you say you want, you got to start thinking different. And that's very, very critical. So let's keep moving here, guys, because now by the time I was 29, I made my first million. They did a big article on us about that. And we actually made $2 million that year. Okay, I got picked up by EMI Capital. Okay, we were featured on all kinds of newspapers, CBS, ABC, Fox, AP, and all that. The $1,800 seed had grown into $150,000 a month. I got into, but here's the thing. By the time I was about 33, I was 33 years old. No, 32. I lost everything. Okay, I lost everything. I lost that house, lost it. And by the way, I lost that house through disobedience. That's a whole nother story, y'all. I don't have time for it. But the Lord had told me to pay that house off. And I had the opportunity when I was 29 years old. I'll tell you the story real quick. I was 29 years old, and I had just gotten signed to EMI Capital. They gave me a $650,000 signing bonus. Okay. Actually, it wasn't a bonus. It was an advance. Okay. Now, what is an advance? Huh? What's an advance? Y'all know about Commission Express? Huh? That's
Alone.
what it was. What's in advance?
Alone.
A loan. You got it. They loaned me $650,000. You got it. But I'm thinking, ooh, I got money. Oh yeah. And back then, the music business, that's chump change. Nowadays these guys, I mean, it's crazy. But so they gave me, the first check was 300,000. Then they gave me another check, 150, and then they gave me another check for one. It was like 650 total. And so, what did I do? See, I had promised the Lord that I would pay that house off whenever He gave me the opportunity. He specifically, I was in the study one time. I was in meditation, and God told me. He said, "Son, I'm gonna bless you to pay off this house, but you're gonna have to be obedient." You know what I said? I said, "Lord, I'll do whatever you tell me." Now, when the money came, did I do it? Heck no. I said, "Man, I'm not gonna pay off my house." I owed about 330,000. I said, "I'm not gonna pay off my house. Why would I pay off my house? That's stupid. I can invest this money and I can quadruple it." Because see, EMI had promised us that they were going to blow it up. Didn't happen, but they promised that it would happen. And what happened? We spent all the money, we lost it. Okay. So several years later, here it is, I'm almost homeless. I sold that house by the skin of my teeth, and we got out of it, and I jumped in the real estate game. That's how I got in the real estate game. Okay. Yeah, you forgot to pay taxes. Look at this. Somebody says, Adam says, feeling rich, you forgot to pay taxes. That's true. I forgot. I didn't forget to pay taxes. I just didn't pay them. I didn't forget. I just didn't pay. So yeah, all this stuff happened. But here's the thing. I got in the real estate game with my tail tucked between my legs, but I sold over 1,000 homes during my first 10 years in the business. Why? Because I had already learned to tap the quantum field. I learned to tap the quantum field when I was 18 years old. An incident happened to me. I don't think we have time for it on this one, but an incident had happened to me where I learned to tap the quantum field, and I have been tapping in the quantum field ever since.
Well, thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the Success with Listings podcast. If you are serious about taking your real estate career to the highest heights, making more money and helping more clients while working less hours and spending more time with your family, be sure to get your copy of my free book, Triple My Listing, absolutely free at successwithlistings.com. Now, you want to be sure that you subscribe to the podcast and check out successwithlistings.com to get your copy of my free book. Hey, I'll see you on the next one.